Hey, everybody. Good evening. Alyssa, thanks for joining. Danielle, Travis, Ryan, Draw Your Dagger, thanks for joining this evening. We are 8 days away from the start of the semifinals, and we got Tyler and John back. We're going to go through some of the workouts. We're going to talk about what we like, what we don't like, and then, hey, who do we think is going to be in and who's going to be out? So we'll get to that in a second. First things first, if you notice on the bottom right-hand side, you have Vindicate promo code SPIN. You now get 15% off, not just 10. So make sure after we're done here, you go on to vindicate.com, have yourself gear, and save 15% with code SPIN. All right. We are getting through. Most of the workouts have been released so far. We're going to start with teams. Looking through them, and I think Hiller, did something on it. Basically, like these things are freaking complicated. Tyler, did you have the same thought that reading through these? I mean, are these more complicated than we've seen in the past?
I don't know about the past, especially when there were 6-person teams, but I didn't really. I don't agree with Hiller up to a certain point. Like this first one, I don't think it's that complicated. I think visually they're just not written well on the site, which maybe that's a bit of ambiguity of like, oh, well, we don't want to give them the whole thing yet. There's one where it says switch. I think it's workout 3. I about had a stroke trying to read it.
Yeah, I can't remember which. Yeah,
it's workout 6. It's workout 6.
Last one, yeah.
Yeah. So it took me forever to figure out that they go through as a team the 15-15, and then while women are doing one legless rope climb, men do the strict handstand push-ups, wall facing handstand push-ups. And then the
men and women switch.
They switch that.
Yep.
And I was like, that's not. It's just like, I don't know. We've been used to the way Dave writes workouts for a decade, and now it's like there's been a couple things like this year where I'm just like, I don't like the way this is written. I know what the workout is, but I don't like the way it's written.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my feeling.
Yep. John, what was your initial thoughts when you saw the team workouts come out?
Yeah, I'm going through them again. I mean, tests 4 and 6 are pretty rough to read. Yeah, like what Tyler said. I kind of think we need to reserve judgment on if it's complicated before we until after we see them, because maybe it flows really well and there's nothing. We get it, but it's just a lot of stuff, a lot of words. I think people just don't like to read. But tests 4 and 6 are hard to decipher. Other than that, though, I mean, the rest of them I think are pretty straightforward. But
with 4, I feel like it's ambiguous, and I think they did that on purpose. But when I read it, I don't know like what happens. Does pair 2 go directly into part 1 of that workout, or does it?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Right, but it's like you could read it also where that doesn't happen. So I don't know.
I guess since it's just 5 rounds, the 5 makes it a little complicating. It just says pair. Like I'm good with it, and then I see, both pairs will switch. Pair 1's going to row 3 times. Pair 2's going to ski 2 times. Pair 2's going to ski 3 times. Pair 2 is going to row 2 times. Like I'm like, what's going on? What are we doing here? So I think, but again, like that might be one that might flow very fine, and it's just hard to read on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alyssa, what do you guys think about the handstand pirouettes? Is it too much gymnastics gimmickry, no. Or is it?
If you're pretty good at handstand walking, you can pirouette. I don't think it's gimmicky.
No. Yeah. I mean, yeah, anybody can do that now. If it's on like a pirouette thing, like instead of just on the floor, okay, that adds a little bit of complexity to it, but they're still not that hard.
Mm-hmm. And it's very easy to practice and get it. If you can walk, I don't know, 100 feet unbroken, you can pirouette just by practicing by within an hour.
Yeah.
So the question is, if anybody can do it, why are we doing it?
Because under fatigue's a different question. You know what I mean? So do y'all remember when Rebecca Fusile, when they were in the games and they were doing the skills medley, she did a pirouette in round 1 just because she got confused and still won the heat.
Yeah.
The pirouette was in round 2 and she was so fast at that thing, like it didn't matter, and she still won. It still gives gymnasts a little bit of an advantage in that event because it's going to slow down everybody just a bit. Where a gymnast, it's not going to slow them down. They're just going to walk normal, pirouette, like it's nothing, and then keep walking. For people who aren't gymnasts, they have to muscle it a little bit, if you will. Everybody can do it, but they got to take their, the better you are at handstand walking, the faster you're going to be at the pirouettes.
There's 2 ways to think about stuff like this. So that, like, you can characterize them as the JR way, and then probably what we'll call the Bosman way. JR likes to think about who he's limiting out, right? And so if you program pirouettes, you're cutting out the people who can't do it. It's like, I definitely want to test you to see if you can do this. If you can't, you're cut out. I think Bosman tends to think of ways to make examples of athletes, show what you can do. So if they can strut their stuff, maybe this leans towards that. But to me, it points more of who can you cut out. And so it's like, it's just bottom of the barrel. I think there are going to be a lot of people at the bottom in the worst part heats that they're going to really struggle.
We have 40 teams, and the top 10, that last heat's going to be, like I think you said, everybody's going to be able to do it. First heat, maybe some people get stuck there.
Yeah.
Maybe the second heat, maybe a person or two in the third heat. And so definitely would be a limiting factor, I think, on some of those athletes. Are the Indies doing them too? We don't know yet. So we still have two events or 2 workouts that we don't know. I guess now will be workouts 6 and 7. So maybe we'll see it. Not sure. You bring up, Tyler, that we just don't know all of the information. Is this the first time we've not had information? Now, obviously the semifinals before, where everybody did their own thing, that's different. It's kind of a one-off. But now you have 2 semifinals going week 1 where they may not know at least what's going on right now until they show up. And then week 2 and 3 will have an extra week or 2 weeks to prepare. I don't feel like they ever had that limiting factor in the regionals before, or am I wrong?
I feel like we knew ahead of time during Dave's reign that we did know ahead of time, well, like what the workouts were, and people got to practice them. Because you're right. In the last week, it's like, man, you've had 4 weeks to practice this thing. Or, in our case now, 3 weeks to practice these things. And so you're going to go so much faster. And it's like, I really wish, because I'm keeping a season-long leaderboard. So going into the games, it's like I'll have everybody's data who made it to the games and and it'd be really great if we could limit as many confines as possible. And so it's like, if these athletes all had at least a week to practice these things, that'd be great. You're still going to get to the last week of semifinals, and the Europeans are going to go faster because they've had way longer. But I mean, it does help, and so I don't understand why they're keeping cards close to the chest.
Yeah, John, do you like that, or you kind of in agreement that they should share more information up front?
No, I agree. That makes a lot of sense. I think if you're going to do semifinals like the 1 week apart, like they're going to do, then all the workouts should be released maybe 3 weeks ahead of time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, like a solid, maybe 2 weeks ahead of time would give people enough time to practice at least the weird stuff. Right. So I agree with Tyler and Danielle.
All right. Anything else on teams? Move on to the individual workouts, which we have little bit easier to discuss and kind of go through those one by one. All right. So I guess first, before we get into that, I did go live this morning to talk through the heat schedule. It's kind of interesting. There's actually 2 competition floors for North America East. So the longer workouts, the team workout 3, and then individual 1 and 3 are both on this second competition floor with 20 athletes to kind of shorten things up. But then there's also out here the schedule, and we have the athlete teams and individuals will each take the floor 6 times. So we do know that obviously event 4 and 5 are at the same time. So we're gonna have at least 7 scored events. As we think through, and we can start talking about the workouts themselves. Event 1, 3,000 meter echo bike, hand over hand pull, 2,000 assault runner, hand over hand pull, 1,000 meter skier, gonna hand over hand pull to finish it off. John, initial thoughts on this one? Do you like this as a first workout?
Yeah, I mean, even in regionals, traditionally the first workout's the long cardio test. I mean that's all it is. There's nothing. There's nothing really much to say about it. It's just a long cardio test. The best cardio people will win. It's not unique or anything. It's fine.
Yeah. We got one of the athletes, McKenna Enslin. I think some standards to go with the workout releases would be beneficial for the brand new movements, so we're not completely in the dark before briefing in person. So
now that comes into play on workout 2 for sure.
Yes,
when we get there.
Yeah, Tyler, any thoughts on workout 1? I mean, it's a lot of machines. We don't know exactly what the pull is, but unless that pull is really difficult, it's going to be won or lost, probably on the run.
My first thought when I read it was Roman's going to destroy everybody on this workout.
Yeah. I had that thought as well.
I know why they're putting this first. It's not going to be the most exciting thing to watch. You're going to have
dogs are back.
Oh gosh. I'm upstairs today, so they shouldn't make too much of a commotion.
You're going to have a lot of time where you're just sitting watching the athletes. I think the overhand pulls will be interesting because it's at that point where you'll get to see like how far each athlete is away from each other. The finish will be really neat. I think people will be really grasping for everything they have on that last 92 feet. Like the last few feet are going to get really hard. But I'm glad it's the first event. Also, everybody's going to come out of the gates like hot. It's the first workout, semifinals, adrenaline's going. And so that kind of controls the fatigue throughout the weekend. No one has points at that moment. So they're all just coming out probably hotter than they would, which is better, I think, than putting it later in the weekend because, like, say I'm Griffin Roll and I know I'm not going to kill this workout. It's like, I'm probably going to sandbag this one a little bit versus, I'm coming out chipper.
Yeah. Hey, Griffin is an excellent hand-over-hand puller. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no doubts about him on that.
I kind of think transitions are going to be a big deal in this workout. I obviously whoever can hold the most in the machines is going to win, but a lot of them are going to be real close to each other. And I like transition. If you go back and watch Laura Horvath and Katrin in 2-stroke pull, I think that's in 2018. Mm-hmm. Like Laura picks up the rope on the sled pull and immediately starts pulling. Katrin picks up that rope, lets the rope sit down, takes a couple breaths, and then starts pulling. Laura picked up like 7 seconds on her every single round. That's 35 seconds in total. And that's a huge thing for something like this. I actually think it's not long enough on one specific machine to make a huge difference.
The Echo bike, what is that? How long will that take? 5-6 minutes?
I don't know meters on these things, but like
I know the
2,000 meter.
assault bike, it was like 110 RPMs for about 1,000 meters. I think I remember right.
Cows.
No, 110 RPMs to get to 1,000 meters.
In how long?
So 110 RPM, 55 RPM is 2 minutes. Obviously, they're going to go way faster than that. Right. 70 plus is going to get you about halfway, a minute and a half.
But then you're running over a mile on the assault runner.
Right. So that's about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And somewhere in the 3 to 4 range in the ski erg easy.
Should put up that comment, Brian. That got me. Whoever that is, that got me. That's terrible. Oh, goodness gracious.
That's good. That is good right there. Yeah. So, I mean, if you think about the Echo bike of, let's say it's 5 minutes, assault runner, conservative 8-minute mile, that's another 10. So you're at 15. A ski erg, again, really conservative 4-minute ski erg. None of these guys are going to hit 4 minutes. I mean, you're at 19 minutes. Every guy breaks this, right? I mean, maybe some of the women don't in the later heats.
You mean
they get in within the time cap easily?
Yeah, but I mean that's been the tradition. Like, you want that. If this is not that time cap's probably not supposed to be strict time cap. On the long workouts, when it's been the time caps, what gets people?
It depends on that pull also, though.
Yeah, like, could the pull be way harder than what we're thinking?
Yeah. I'm imagining it's like a regular Rogue sled with 225 on it, but then like, what's the flooring do to the?
Is that 545s?
Yeah,
and that's a lot.
Yep, especially hand over hand.
Yeah. Well, that'd be a good one to start off with. Sounds like Roman is our hands down favorite for that one. Workout 2. It's a 3-round, 3-minute AMRAP of 5 ring complexes, which is a 1 toe to ring, 1 muscle up, 1 ring dip, 20 single leg squats, and then in that remaining 3 minutes, max burpees over the box, wearing a 10 or 20 pound ruck and a 24 or 30 inch box. Thoughts on the ring complex, Tyler?
I like the ring complex. I like that we're doing more stuff on top of the rings. The toes ring is fine. I didn't realize until later this morning that the ruck was part of the complex, or that you were wearing the ruck the whole time. That's going to make it much harder. I have no idea. I had to rush out of the gym, but I wanted to play with that this evening just to see what it felt like. I've done weighted bar muscle ups with like a ruck on, but I've never done them on the rings. And so I know that it's going to be a little bit more like a strict ring muscle up. Like, it's going to be more vertical instead of swingy.
I actually think the toe to ring is going to be a lot harder than people think too. It's not going to be hard, but it's going to be not.
It's not as
with
easy.
The ruck on, it's gonna get your abs a lot more than you think.
Yeah,
I like it though. I was, for people who aren't behind the scenes, I was having a bit of an argument with Chase Ingram today about why we have to do the muscle up all the time. Because like, if I'm thinking about this, you want to do a toes ring, and then you want to get on top of the rings as fast as possible to do the ring dip, right? If you're trying to be as efficient as possible. And I said, why can't we do a backwards uprise? Because the difference in the backwards uprise and the muscle up is not a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it was a missed opportunity to program something different. Now, would I do that with the ruck? No, because people are, they're going to struggle with the ruck, period. But I don't know. Ring muscle ups are played out to me.
You can't. If you fall right into the dip on that, though, that's so hard to standardize or judge an uprise.
And that's why I told Chase, I said it should just be a toaster ring and a dip, and we don't care how you get on top the rings. So sort of like a ground to overhead situation. I don't care how you get the bar
Yeah,
overhead.
I mean, I feel like this is kind of you being a little bit nitpicky about it, though. I don't like. I feel like you're one of the only people that has a problem with this right now.
Probably.
What I like about it is it's going to catch those who have been pushing away on the rings and getting through any of the muscle up side that on the online portion where, you know, if they're pushing behind the rings, they're not, you know, staying on top because they have to stay up there to get the dip.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they're not locking out and not used to locking out, they're going to have to now, especially if the judges are strict on them.
Because they have to do another dip.
They have to do another dip. So you can't just, you know, half-ass the push out and then go back down.
I think it's where I was going to ruin people. I think it's going to be so much worse than people think. So I'm going under the assumption you're allowed to use your hands on the burpee because Brian said this earlier on Sevon's podcast. Brian Friend, the other Brian, that it's burpee over box. It doesn't say burpee jump over, or box jump over. So, and it's a 30-inch box with a 20-pound ruck on you, 10 pounds for women, but it's a high box with a ruck on you.
So you think you're going to be able to place your hands on top of the box
after doing pistols, right? Mm-hmm. So like if it was to be a jump, man, we are really playing with fire. Yeah. So I do think you're going to be able to use your hands, but everybody's going to do that because it's easier, right? Or you can go in it faster. But you have to think about it. If you're doing that complex and you're hanging on for the whole time, which most of them should be able to, your pressing muscles, whenever you're on one, you do a burpee, so you're pressing there, and then you're putting your hands on the box, your pressing muscles are being used constantly. Like they don't have any room to flush out except for when you're doing pistols. And that minute break. Like I think this is going to compound because it's like holding a plank because you're doing with a ruck on you while you're getting over the box, and then you have to do a burpee. Right? Like, and you're doing that for as many times as you can. So you're moving really fast in that too. Your chest and triceps are going to just be blown to shreds. Like I bet this workout, people are not going to think anything of it. They're just thinking it's a gymnastics test. And once people are done, I think it's going to ruin people.
That third set of the going into the ring complexes in the third round.
Do we think we'll see anybody that won't finish the single leg squats at some point?
Somebody can blow up.
Depends on the region.
I mean, say a top 30 North American or Europe athlete.
No, I think everybody makes it through. Yeah, I mean, if they have trouble with the pistols, who's to say? But I think everybody will. If not, they should. And if they can't, they shouldn't be there. Somebody else should be there.
Go ahead.
It's a. I think the ruck's going to make
3 minutes. 3 minutes is so long to do that.
I'm just thinking the third round. If you've gone out too hot, and you're now wearing a ruck, and you are able to go faster because it isn't box jumps, right? So you're just using your hands, getting over there quickly. That compounding breathing and just the muscle fatigue, like you said, your triceps, do they get to a point where the 5 ring complexes are singles and they fail on 1 or 2 of them, right?
You still finish way harder in 3 minutes.
I would like to know how you can break it up. Like, if you do a toaster ring, do you then have to continue to do the muscle up and then the ring dip?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a complex.
Yeah, and then so, man, like doing one of those and then going back up, that's going to be so costly in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess you could. I'm rescinding my vote. Yeah, I think you're going to see some people in the top 30.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I mean, I think you'll see people do singles, but you still can do that under a minute in singles.
Yeah. Tristan Patrick, they're harder than they sound, especially for the females. I completely agree. I think there'll be a lot more women who will struggle on this, and then I also think there'll be some guy in the top 30 who can't get to it in the third round. Just not his strength. All right. Workout number 3. So those were the first 2 on Friday.
Do we want to talk about McKenna's comment?
Let's see. Oh,
she's one of the athletes. I think we should try to answer all their questions just because.
Cash money.
Any opinion on the choice of the ruck rather than a vest?
The ruck sponsors the semifinal, and the vest does not.
Well, that and the vest, I think you can bash your chin on it if it slides up.
Dude, people are hitting their heads on that muscle up with the ruck. Are you kidding me? Vellner said he hit himself like 4 times. He thought he had a concussion when he did it at Wadapalooza. Because that backpack, when as soon as you crank up, bam, with that ruck, I guarantee it happens.
Those vests we had at TFX were really good, and I agree with McKenna. They were, I can't remember the name of the
bullet vest. Literally the best vest there is.
They're amazing vests, and I'm really bummed out that they're not using these here because they conform to you. It's a missed opportunity. I understand why they're doing the vest. It's going to make the turnover harder on the ring muscle ups for sure, because you're going to have weight pulling back on you. And then the balance on the pistols.
I think more people have used the vest too. I mean, hopefully most of these athletes have used a ruck at some point, but probably not in as many movements like this before.
Yeah.
Would it make him go more strict? I think you said yes. Tyler, that's what you're kind of anticipating on the muscle up.
Yeah.
Be more
vertical. They're not going to go strict, but it's just going to be it's going to be a more straight up and down pull as opposed to a big swingy pull.
If you've ever done a muscle up on short rings versus long rings, your kip on short rings is going to be more of like what this is like versus your kip on long rings, which is a lot more swingy.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Workout number 3. So Saturday morning, Linda with the little dumbbell bench press. Any surprises we're going to see on this one, John?
Oh, I don't know, man. If we are, it's going to be on the dumbbells. I do think it's easier to get in and out of with dumbbells, but 90 pounds is kind of hard to just get into position. I think so. With dumbbell bench press, it's way more brute strength than a barbell. A barbell, you can bounce that thing off of your chest, especially if you're trying to go fast. With dumbbells, it's just more brute strength involved than a bench press, or like it accentuates who is stronger in bench press, if that makes sense. So this gives more of an advantage than they already had to people with a bigger bench press than if it was a barbell. It just accentuates that skill within this workout. I think this is really bad for certain people. And we will get into that when we get to the people, but I think this workout hurts a couple people really bad. Like they couldn't ask for anything worse than this. But it throws a new twist in there. It's exciting. I just think if you have a big bench press, this only benefits you even more than regular Linda. And if you don't, it hurts you even more than regular Linda.
It is weird because it's right after a pressing workout in workout number 2. And I don't know about right after, but it's the next workout.
It'll be the next day.
But it's like the deadlifts and the squat cleans are a non-limiter really for these athletes. And so it just comes down to the dumbbell bench press. And I mean, like I'm a good presser, but I would much rather do regionals Linda than this. I'm going to get in the round of 6 and start failing 100%.
If you go back and look in 2018 when it was regionals Linda, the amount of time on transitions adds up a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you're walking back and forth down the floor. The squat cleans, I think he moved every time down the floor. So as you got further and further along, it took longer and longer to get back to the deadlifts.
Yes, Alex Kazan is going to murder everybody. It's going to be vicious, and she can walk to the finish line. That girl, man, Couldn't have asked for anything better.
Yeah.
This was a lesson we learned at Crash Crucible last year. JR programmed dumbbell bench press, and he knew it was aggressive, but he thought people would get through it much more than they did. I mean, it was just like they were stuck, especially the females.
Mm-hmm.
So also something is like if you fail a rep with the barbell, you just have your spotter pick it up off, and you shake it out, and then you can go again. When you fail a dumbbell press, like it's gonna come back here, and then you're just gonna drop them down by your side. It's not like you get a spotter, so you just drop them
20
down on your side.
seconds.
And then you have to grab this dumbbell, bring it over here, grab this dumbbell, bring it over here, put it on your legs, and then lay back down. That's what you're going to have to do if you fail.
Yep.
So and honestly, it's what you have to do if you break up your sets too. So it's not like you can just be smart and break up your sets. If you break it up, that transition is going to take so long, even if you are really smart about the workout. That's why I'm saying, like, it just accentuates the bench press more than than it already was, because the bench press is whoever was good at bench press was going to win Linda back in regionals. This just makes it even more drawn out, I guess you could say. But I think Roman's going to smoke this too. I don't think anybody's going to touch him on this.
Griffin.
His triceps are very strong.
Yeah. The one thing I wish I would have seen on this is maybe kettlebell deadlifts. That would have been
cool. That would have been really cool.
With the I think you can't do that weight then.
No.
When you kettlebell deadlifts, they got to be heavier than that.
They got 200-pound kettlebells at the games. They could have 150-pound kettlebells.
Oh no, for sure. But I'm saying it's not like they can't do it. I'm just saying the weight that they picked would have to be heavier.
It would have to be somewhere around. Yeah, it wouldn't be the exact weight, but that would have been pretty cool if they could have figured out some way of doing that. But
yeah, that would have been really visually neat.
On Saturday, workout 4 and 5, the last workouts. John, I know you are pumped for this one. 2-part workout. First one is for load, run 800 meters, a max snatch. After that 6 minutes, they then have 2 minutes to reset, and they go into test number 5, which is 4x 8 snatches at 185, 125, and run 800 meters. John, I'll let you go first. You love this one.
Yeah, I just think it's a super awesome blend. All-out strength, but not just a 1-rep max. I think this is, if you're looking for fitness, like I know Chase just has a heart attack every time 1-rep max is programmed, and he just can't control himself. Like how upset he is when that's programmed. I think this is a way you can do a max out under somewhat fatigue, but then you also have a workout after, and that workout after is completely who's the best runner. But also under fatigue. You got to be a little bit strong. You have to be able to do those 8 snatches unbroken. And if you're not strong enough to do those 8 snatches unbroken, then it's almost like you're out of the running to be the best runner. It's the best runner that can do those 8 snatches unbroken, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then vice versa, if your snatch is the greatest snatch, like let's just say Griffin, because he has the highest snatch of everybody there. If you want to run that slow, and so you can snatch a lot, you're not going to be out of breath, then you're only going to get 2 lifts at most. But if you want to run it fast and you're going to be a little bit out of breath, then you'll get 3 lifts. I just think it's a fun way to put pressure on people. And it's a way of doing a max out without just having a 1-rep max, because I know people get mad about that. It's still a way of maxing out, just in a fitnessy way, which is what CrossFit is.
Yeah. One thing I just noticed, didn't we just have age groups that's 185, 135 for the first workout?
they tampered with the weights this time a little bit.
So now it's back to the 185, 125.
Yeah. Which is definitely not the same.
They keep bouncing back and forth on the percentage for the women. I think that's kind of interesting. It says run 800 meters. Are we going to see shuttle runs?
I hope not.
I hope not. Yeah. If they have a little 200-meter lap, I think it will be a super fun visual event and be
There's no
really cool
way.
to watch all those races. If they're having to race at 800-meter after that 8 snatches, it's going to be really, really, really fun to watch. If it's shuttle runs, it's going to be hard to keep up with. You know what I mean? And I mean, I get we were limited by the venue, but anything but shuttle runs for this, please.
I guess can you even do 800 meters of shuttle runs in that amount of time?
I don't.
I can't remember what Rich's time was on the mile shuttle run, or the 2 800-meter shuttle runs.
But
I hope it's not an air runner either, Jonathan, just because that's not, you can't see.
Yeah, you're just going to be like, and somebody steps off and they win.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the visual for this.
Yeah, I would like to see it. They're probably going to do an air runner, which sucks. But I hope they don't, like, if they did shuttle runs, like, you just can't, like, you can't go so fast. And if you do, you're risking, like, blowing out your knee or something for sure. Like, because dudes are just going to straight cut as hard as they can for a while. And it's like, I don't know, visually, it's just not going to be very fun.
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious to know how they could fit that into the space and not have athletes be able to pass each other too.
Right. Well, that would be cool as hell, though. Like if it gets tight in the corners or something like that, and they, you know, there's a little bit of shoving going on.
That would be cool. And then there's a tape line at the end of it, and you have to run through the tape, photo finish. Oh man, I mean, come on.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because the first workout it definitely says it's an assault air runner for the 2,000 meters. This just says run.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't say that if they didn't have something up their sleeve.
And John's dog is now even participating more than just wolfing. They probably put run in because some regions will have a lap and some will have to air run. That could be too.
That is a good point. Yeah, because Africa, I don't know if they can get air runners.
Their venue is also very small, so they may have to use air runners if they do have access to them or some type of treadmill there. All right.
I mean, I would rather them just like walk out 400 meters and back, like with the tape measure or something. Like, it's not hard to do that. You could do it in your neighborhood.
After 5 scored events, we have 3 with running in it. Is that too much?
So the tests for I don't count that at all. I think you're reaching real hard there, Brian.
But why run again? Maybe do rowing or something else that would get the same effect.
Running least affects your snatch.
Okay. Tyler, do you think too much? Not enough? Just the right amount?
Sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, I'm just thinking about this for the first time. That's actually a good point. We've tested running a lot. And we test running a lot at the games. But
not in a semifinal. That is a great point. Regionals and semifinals, they have an air runner on one event, and then there's no more running the rest of the event.
Mm-hmm.
The two, well, it is a mile, between.
You can't
4
look at
and
it
5.
like that, though. It's not though.
It's not.
We're not running that 800
sort
meters.
of though, because it's back to back.
With
two. It's one event
rest in between.
How much?
It's 2 events.
It's 2 minutes between to reset.
I know it's 2 events, but it's really 1 event. Like, because I mean, like, bro, I do pieces that have 2 minutes between them, and it's 1 piece. You know what I'm saying? Like this, 4 affects 5, right? And I think that's the thing we're not thinking about is how it affects 5, especially like, and it's going to be different for each person. You don't think so?
None.
I don't know, dude.
A max squat clean might be different. Your legs are not shook from a max snatch, right? And you need your legs for the 800-meter run, for like the timed one, right? you're just max snatch. So if anything, you're primed for those 8 snatches. If anything, it helps people on that event for the snatches because you just lifted a lot more than 185, 125. And then the run to the snatch means nothing. Nobody's running that hard. If anything, it's a warm-up. It's a max snatch and an 800 meter for time, but you got to be able to do these 8 snatches first.
Yeah, because even if you're a good runner, you don't run fast because it's like, well, I'm probably not going to be a great snatcher, and I don't want to, like, I'll just relax the way through it. But if you're a good snatcher, you take your time, and you're like, I know I'm going to win this. So, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of sandbaggery on 4 for sure. 5 will be the real test. So, yeah, I guess.
I think if you had them separated, the leaderboard would be the same by more than 2 minutes. I think you could wait 20 minutes, and whoever did well on this one will do well on this one. I think it would be the same.
It does remind me a little bit of the clean workout at the games from, I don't know what year that was, but yeah, I mean, it's different. 21.
Mm-hmm. Is that where they did it clean and ran around and came back?
Yeah, that's where Haley got stuck. Yeah, I don't know. And I hate those because there's going to be people sandbag one or the other, and it's like it's
part of the game, man.
It is part of the game, and I don't I don't wrong them for that. It's just that I don't know.
The shuttle run split jerk event. I mean, that's
you're going way back then.
No.
Last year.
I was thinking the run in the dumbbell split snatch or whatever they had back.
Not
that nonsense. No. This last year, the shuttle run and jerk event. I mean, like, yes, people game it, but to do well in both of them, that, like, the people who need to get through, it's a beautiful test because you have to do good in both of them. Mm-hmm. To get to the games, you have to do good in both of them, right? And Ricky Garrard and I think Adler, like, were top 3. I think Adler was like top 5 in the run, but they were 3 and 5 in both of those things, and it skyrocketed them because it's 2 events, right? I think it's like that a little bit. Like, to do good in both of them, you have to be very all around fit in multiple ways. So the sandbagging does not bother me because those people get their moment of shine and then they're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I get that. I mean, that's fair. They're specialized tests, and you're right. He's going to give people the opportunity. Bosman's giving the people who are good at things to shine, but ultimately you're testing for the fittest, and fittest are going to do both good at both. Like, Hopper's going to do great on both of these.
Adler's going to.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at day 1, and it's very cardio based. The faster people that can do the machines, and also and then also can do the gymnastics base are probably going to be standing near the top of the leaderboard on Friday. You come to Saturday, now you get strength Linda, you have this max snatch, and then you have can you go 185 unbroken snatches and then take off on a run? I see a lot of movement on the leaderboard going on Saturday.
So Sundays we'll have big workouts.
So Sunday's going to have
we're almost guaranteed
rope
7
climbs.
events. We haven't had anything upside down, so there's going to be a little bit of skill involved. Either with handstand push-ups or handstand walking, because there's nothing yet. So, rope climbs and something with handstand stuff, probably a thruster.
Yeah. That's stuff. So I think it'll be really good. I think Saturday's going to be really interesting. So I think we'll see a lot of movement on the leaderboard, and then Sunday will be who has it. So, all right, to our picks. What everybody's here waiting for. We're going to go quickly through Africa. Needed to pull up the list of athletes, but I'll have you start, Tyler, on kind of who you think you have in Africa, kind of coming out of that one spot, one male, one female coming out.
Keelan Henry for sure on the male. I don't know. He's working hard, and he, in my ratings this year, some of the stats that I keep, he actually, South American athletes don't hold their weight, and usually African. I know,
Sorry.
and usually Africans don't either. But he is holding his own weight and he's climbing up the leaderboard. He's legit. And so I know it's an easy, chip shot, but Keelan for sure.
He's the obvious pick. Do we think he'll run away with this thing, or do you think that Darren Zernimer or Michael Van Tonder or anybody of these other guys? Jason Smith is competing now because he didn't make it into the age group. He's been there before. Does anybody have a shot at challenging Keelan, or is it going to be? We know early on that Keelan's going to get this.
He'll be tested, but I think he might have some pressure moments, but he'll get it.
John, you same agreement?
Yeah, like he might not be running away with it by the end of day 2, but when it's all said and done, I think him and Michelle will be easily the winner, like after all the events.
Yeah, the women's side. I mean, Michelle was down here on the leaderboard. I think she got penalized in workout 4 in the quarterfinals, if I recall. Other than that, she would have been way up near the top. I mean, do we see anybody competing with Michelle?
No, not like with Keelan. No one's. She's really like with talking with Taylor this year, and her being
she's a self-made athlete. We should preemptively say that Taylor is her coach, right?
And he's a tyrant. Yep. If you're bad at something, he lets you know real fast, and he's going to make you hit it hard. And she had some holes. But he's aggressive. And she had some holes, and she finally started admitting that and has gone after him this year. I don't think she'll have any problem getting to the games this year.
Yeah, return bit. She was there in 21, right?
Yep.
She's been there the last couple of years, I think.
She was not there last year. Michelle Moran, I think, was the African representative for that. All right, moving out of Africa, we'll touch on the teams. There's 40 teams going. I think there's a big discrepancy between, say, East Nashville and that last heat. Can Mayhem or CrossFit OBA, Krypton, anybody on here have a chance at dethroning Proven? Or are we gonna see 6 first place finishes by those guys?
I don't think they'll have 6 first place finishes.
I did a fun experiment, getting nerdy for a minute, but I scored their open, or I Z-scored the quarterfinals for them, and they're 100 points above OBA if you did it on 100-point scale with everybody who's going to semifinals.
Mm-hmm. The OBA second?
They're just, they're going to murder everyone. It's not even going to be close.
You think they'll win every event?
Maybe not every event, but they'll be top 3 every event.
I mean, they had 4 out of 5 in the quarterfinals. With the 4th, so I don't think it's out of the possibility. But I think they'll definitely run away with it. Anybody that you see that might be a surprise that hits the podium? Because I see OBA and Krypton rounding out the podium.
With Mayhem Independent. I mean, I think it's them 4 teams, and then that's it. I don't see anybody else coming close. I think there's a clear tier shift after that. I think you got Proven, and then the next tier is those 3 teams.
I think one that we don't see on here is Move Fast, Lift Heavy 24/7. They were top 10 at the games last year. Basically the exact same team coming back. I think Chloe Govin David is the new athlete on that team, but she's a great athlete. I could see them, you look at maybe I think they're going to be getting into the top 10, even though it doesn't look like it, just looking at the quarterfinal results. So that's a team to keep an eye on.
I think Black, CrossFit, TGT CrossFit Black, I know it's biased for me, but I genuinely do think when I rescored using Z-Score, they were only 20 points out of third. And I could see Krypton maybe fumbling on some stuff this year. And then same thing with Independence. So we will see. I like them as an outside shot. I still think that Independence and OBA are probably going to be who's on the podium, but Independence is a little wobbly to me. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. Obviously, you now have the full team out here on the quarterfinals, but the Open you didn't. You had a bunch of other athletes that were in there, which could have been a strategy. But I think those top 4 teams are pretty solid into the top 10. It'll be a question of the remaining 6 of who those fill out. On to individuals. We have our picks. I'll start pulling that up here.
I would say mine are subject to change, depending on. Honestly, they might change already. I haven't changed them since I saw the last 2 workouts, so I might make changes off the bat here. I'm gonna do a show with Brian later on, so I might change mine, but we'll roll with what we got right now.
So I guess the first thing I want to ask you guys is 12 men out of North America East qualify for the games. Are you more interested in the top 3 podium spots, or are you more interested in 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and kind of the bubble of who makes it in, who doesn't? You're muted there, Tyler.
Am I?
No, you're good now.
Bubble for sure. It's going to be fun to see who gets podium. Basically, I'm just going to watch. I'm keeping notes on the guys at the top just to think about how they're going to do at the games. But the story the whole weekend is who's going to be on the bubble. That's the one you want to follow.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
I agree. I mean, I think 10 through 15. Like when I made my rankings, I felt really bad that some guys weren't going to make it. And I think they should make it, and they're not going to because this region is so good. I think this is probably the best region as far as the men go. And the top people, I mean, honestly, the top people don't mean anything to me. I'm not even taking notes the way Tyler is. I'm just going to enjoy the show because Jeff Adler's going to run away with it. He's going to beat everybody, and it means nothing because Roman is fitter than Jeff Adler, but Jeff Adler's going to do better at this semifinal. So the top doesn't mean a ton to me, unless there's just something that really sticks out. But 10 through 15, man, it's going to be so heartbreaking for some people because I think they're deserving. I mean, honestly, I think maybe the top 17 guys are deserving of going to the games, which is insane.
Yeah. And I went through this list, and it was very hard to pick upsets, right? You have these game veterans that you've seen for years and years and years. It's hard to imagine them not hitting the top 12. But this field is so deep that, and I think 1 or 2, missteps, and you could be way down that leaderboard, So if you fail some of those muscle ups with the ruck on, and you take 45th or 50th, I mean, that could set you back all week. So that will be something I'm watching. All right, we're gonna go because of that. We're gonna look at the podium first and work our way down, and break some hearts with those who finish right outside the bubble. So, common name here, Roman Krenikov. We have him in 3 different spots. Tyler, number 1. I have him in 3rd, and John has him in 2nd.
I'm surprised John didn't have him in 1st.
No, it makes me sad. And listen, like Roman is the fittest guy there, and I think by far, I don't think it's close. But with the events that have been said thus far, Roman's worst thing is his snatch, and we have to do a max snatch. And his second worst thing is ring muscle up volume. Now, in saying that, he's not bad. So, like, if this was a normal region, I still think he would win. But since there's literally 10 games guys that are like routinely games guys, he's going to get beat by like 8 people on some of these events. And Adler won't get beat by 8 people in any of the events. So like Roman might win more events, and Roman might beat Adler more than vice versa. But the events that Roman does bad at, it's not going to be like.
You think Roman struggles on Linda since that's a pressing thing? So, okay,
I think he's fine on that. I moved Roman down because of seeing the ring muscle ups. I think that he'll really struggle on Friday with those. And then of course the snatch came out and it kind of made me feel better about where I put him. Because it's tough to say he's not gonna be in the top 2, but I think he's gonna have a couple of those workouts where he's not where you think he will be. And could affect him the rest of the weekend. And at that point it's, hey, I just want to make it in. Like, I'm not worried about winning first anymore. I'm just going to be consistent the rest of the way and make sure.
I don't think he'll struggle. I think he'll just get like a couple 7th places. And that'll be enough that Jeff wins. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think he's going to struggle a couple worse than you think. But
what kind of dates Cornway has been taking you on, Brian? But for you to have him that high, what has he ever done to make you think he's going to do this?
I think
he should rock event 2. He should, and his snatch is great. But
I think training alongside Rich.
He's been training with Rich,
and I think he's an all around athlete, and I think that's what they're going to test. You know, when we see 6 and 7 come out, I think overall it's a well rounded athlete, and he's not going to have any events where he just is terrible.
Sam was hard for me not to put in the top 3. I fought with that demon. He's a bit of an unknown, and it makes me nervous because he continually not gets hurt, but things happen. But I mean, he's a force, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the top 3. I just don't think Hopper's gonna let him win, personally.
Yo, Hopper's coming, man. Listen, people are going to be impressed with Hopper. I wouldn't be shocked if Hopper beats Roman, just by the events that have been announced thus far. I would not be shocked if Hopper beats Roman. Hopper's going to murder the 185 and then 800-meter run. He's almost my pick to win that. I think people will be thoroughly impressed with Hopper. I would not be shocked if he's second and Roman is third. And again, it means nothing. I still think Roman's going to win the CrossFit Games this year. But these specific events, it's not. If it was 15 events, it would come out the other way, but it's not. It's 7, right? Or we think so.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see. Like John picks like based on feel, and I have.
Oh, you had all your spreadsheets and math going on.
Yeah. So I created an entire.
Now let's talk about Saxon for a minute. Come on, let's talk about that. That's even worse than Sam. Goodness gracious.
John immediately started making fun of me in a text thread about this. And I'll say this. So what I did was I created leader average, which is essentially just batting average. If you place in the top 10 in any event, it counts as like points towards you. And then I just weighted it. So open was worth 1 point, quarterfinals was worth 2 points, semifinals was 3, and games 4, right? Well, Saxon has the highest leader average for this field, and like by a long shot.
And what data are you looking at? Just the quarterfinals?
No, I'm looking for the past 2 years of events.
So it's like the worldwide rankings, but your own.
Yeah, but better.
You come up with a different. If that's the case.
But it's only top 10. So if you come to top 10, that's what gets you points, right? So it's events. it shows that he's constantly in top 10. And then it's weighted for games performances, right? Which in this case, like you say, like semifinals performance isn't always correlated to games performance. But I mean, I see Saxon, he always does well at semifinals.
Not top. Yeah, but at the Granite Games.
Okay.
This is the freaking CrossFit Games, but cut in half. You realize this? Like,
yes, I understand.
Like the top 10 guys in this thing are going to be top 15 in the games.
Yeah, I'm just a Saxon believer also.
Saxon doesn't beat those people. Now, yes, the Granite Games, he could take it to Chandler Smith all day, but not a games locked field.
We'll see.
Yeah. That's a.
Do we want to place a bet on it?
Oh yeah, I'll put some money down on this.
You guys have any wagers?
Let's do it, Brian. Okay,
let's play like this. If you get the spot
bet Jason
right,
Hopper beats Cornwall and Saxon because I have Jason Hopper the highest, and you out of all you guys. But I know we're tied, but you have Saxon ahead of him. So I bet Hopper beats Cornwall.
Got to beat both
Saxon.
of them
And Saxon.
No, whoever finishes the best between Cornwall, Saxon, and Jason.
Okay,
yeah, let's make a bet on that.
We all got a dog in the fight.
Fine.
What do you want to bet?
I need to put $10 down on it.
You heard it.
Oh,
all
I
right.
was thinking something like physical, but
sorry.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough out of you. I'm about to hit this person, whoever this is. I think I know who this is down here, and
John's dog.
All right.
All right. $10 though. Is that what we're doing?
God. Sorry, I just read that.
Yeah.
Okay.
$10.
Yeah.
$10.
All right. All right. Right off the podium, you guys have Cornwall right off that. I came in with Saxon. John's a Saxon hater.
Yeah.
I have Jason up there. I mean,
top 6.
There aren't too many surprises. I think a lot of these guys are kind of interchangeable when you get to this point. I don't really see anything that stands out too much. Other
I
than
didn't
maybe
put John up there.
Maybe with John with Noah. That's a pretty strong finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll do good.
That's it. That's it. Enough said.
Yeah,
as
far as not
do you like
Saxon
it after seeing the workouts?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll do good in Linda. I think he'll rock the gymnastics one. The cardio
a lot
one,
of running.
He'll be like freaking, 6th or 7th. He'll do fine in the 800 meters, again, 6th or 7th. The snatch one, he won't do great. But whatever gymnastics thing upside down is, he'll do great. Yeah. I mean, he might not finish 4th. I do have him a little high, but I don't think he's going to be much off of that.
Brian, I think you're low on Hopper. Top 5?
Yeah, why do you hate Jason Hopper?
I mean, other than Cornwall, I don't think anybody is.
You don't think he can beat anybody above him?
Well,
like
you
Saxon?
don't have him beating 2 of those 4 people. So
yeah, but just
you're
2.
not really one to talk here.
I mean, I was strong on Adler going into the game.
So Jeff Adler.
Yeah. So I mean, the only one I would say is Cornwall is probably the one that is maybe the least unknown, the most unknown of them. But I mean, he's been training with Matt, so he's I hope he is and can challenge those guys. I just kind of see him at 5th right now, based off what we've seen in the past. So
yeah.
Y'all
John's low on Sam too.
Coming.
Yeah. 7 through 9. First rookie in here at Jake Berman. Tyler,
I like.
Do you have any insider information, or is it just because he's training Think Tank?
No, he trains with Training Think Tank. Wait till the.
No, I like Jake. He's been hungrier than he has been.
Yeah,
he's put aside all his foolishness. He's put aside all his foolishness. He's good to go, man.
Yeah.
But I will say, on my stats, I did put him up quite a bit. He's not in the top 12 as far as my stats go.
There it is.
What happened? How are you going to believe that wholeheartedly in Saxon, and then you just throw it out the door for Jake Berman? They're basically the same person.
The problem is Jake hasn't gone to the games, so his stat, like, he can't. I think he do well in a lot of stuff at the games, but his stats can't like relate to that, right? He doesn't have that data in his stuff.
I agree.
And he's been working. Brian, that's the problem. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Me and Brian Friend, we both been on the Jake Berman train for the last 2 years, and he just hasn't done it. Like, we thought he was going to make the games 2 years ago, and then we were both really big believers in him 1 year ago, and he just comes up just a little short. I mean, I hope he breaks through too, but I can't rank him until he does. Like, rank him high like that, because I did believe in him 2 years in a row, and he didn't.
I think a lot of the mental side of things are going to play out on this, because you're going up against some of the best athletes, and if you're sitting in 10th place, you're on the bubble, and you're going up against some of the best athletes in the world. Can you hang with that? And looking at yourself maybe in 15th place after day one, that's a way different feeling than a lot of these guys have ever had in a spot to go to the games. And so if you start getting down on yourself, even though you're only 3 spots out, I think that's going to play a role in this.
Hold up. Time out. Can we talk? Did we talk? You have Jeff Adler in 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, let's make a bet on that.
No.
I'll bet you 1,000 burpees that he gets top 3.
I acknowledge that
1,000 burpees. Can you make that bet with me right now? I'll bet you 1,000 burpees that he gets top 3.
I will say Noah's stats.
Are you gonna make that bet with me or no?
What's the bet?
1,000 burpees.
No.
That Jeff Adler gets top 3.
No.
Why not?
I don't know. His stats are good. I'm not going to make it because it's an ignorant bet. I understand that he could get top 3. I just don't feel it.
Well, you need to start feeling something. He's going to run away with this, man.
5th at the games. Could have won Rogue.
Dude. Yeah, what do you need to feel?
He carried Pat and Brent in Wadapalooza in the team competition, coming in fresh. I
don't get how you can rank Sam Cornway ahead of Jeff Adler.
Dude, I've been waiting on that dude a while.
Do you think Sam is fitter than Rich?
No, I do think
then he's not fitter than Jeff or Roman.
You think it goes No, what, Matt, Rich, and then Adler?
No, I'm saying currently, if you think Rich is fitter than Sam, then he's not fitter than Jeff Adler. Jeff and Roman, I think, would dominate Rich right now.
You're wrong.
Right now. We'll never find out. But
I think Sam's a better athlete. And he's heavy. Like, he can just handle more than other people. He's got good endurance. I just like him better. Yes. I like him. And it's like, okay, Jeff's strong. That pays off for one workout. Big deal.
Dude, he won the run at Rogue. He won.
Yeah, I know. I did not the long run.
He was second.
Hopper won.
Hopper
I was going to say, whoa.
Beat Ricky Garrard.
Yeah, I'm just telling you.
That's the one to watch. We'll see where Adler finishes. Let's see. All right, the bubble athletes.
And this hurts.
This was tough because you had to, there were some games athletes that I didn't have on there. 2 of which, Alex Vigneault and Alex Curran. You guys, John didn't have Will Morad. So decent amount of guys coming in. I was the only one to have Jack Farlow breaking into into
Yeah,
I
it.
don't have
noticed
James.
that.
I don't have James Sprague either.
Yeah.
It was between Sprague and Berman, and I think those dumbbells are going to kill James.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the dumbbells and then also the muscle ups. I hope that after last year in the muscle up, because that was Syndicate Crown. That's where Will passed him, right? And
That was more on the handstand push-ups.
Okay. Yeah.
Will Morad is the single best handstand push-up person in all of the world. If there's a handstand push-up workout, he is the best in the world.
And he's been training for a triathlon, so his running.
I don't care about that.
It's great.
But,
Yeah,
Well, he also
but he's
played
great
soccer.
with that. He has a great.
Yeah.
His snatch is close to 300, if not 300. So
you know, he was listed as that, but then he like did 270 at the games. So it's
yeah.
like a lot of Will Morad stuff is like he did this stuff in the past, and you never know what he is currently.
He never
Like
fails.
he's done
dude.
he's done
He
a lot of like
never
crazy
fails.
stuff, and he has. But you never know what you're going to get with him. Like he just lets you down in some moments.
Thinking of the mental side of it, I think Will is one of those guys that can pull
He
through.
come clutch. Yeah.
Yeah, he's super clutch. And he just
I agree.
he's a grinder, man. He's going to qualify.
Yeah.
And it might be in 12th, but he's going to qualify. And I will say I made these rankings last week before ever looking at any of the programming. I will say now James is going to have a hard time with some of this stuff. And there's I would flirt with kicking him out.
Yeah, I want to see him do well.
I do too.
As much as you put Jake in there for wanting to see somebody do well, I think same for James. Nothing else from last year and that heartbreak to see him get into that. So
yeah,
no, it was.
I think he's gotten
James
better
and
this
Jake
year.
For me.
Yeah, I think he's gotten better this year. But now seeing these workouts, I mean, like some of it might trash him, and so sorry.
Honestly, though, if he just moves west, I think he might have a shot. I really think he's just a product of this. This is the best men's
stacked.
field.
Yeah.
You know, even I know they got 2 extra spots, but even with that,
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yep. All right. So
See who we're shitting on.
Yeah, the first 3 out. So I had the 2 Alexes out and Jake just missing out again. You guys were big on Griffin during talking through the workouts, and now you guys have him just outside. Is there a specific thing that we've seen so far that's going to prevent him from
You have to think about how low he can fall. Yeah, he's going to get some homers, but he's also going to strike out like most of the time. Sorry.
Did you say, is there a specific thing that holds him out? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are talking, obviously he's one of the stronger athletes out there. Is there a specific test workout that we've seen already that's going to be, we know for a fact he's going to be way down the leaderboard?
It's fitness.
The first one. Yeah, his fitness is terrible.
No, it's not. I mean, he's one of the 30 fittest guys in the world, in North America. But no, I just think the other guys are fitter, man. And like, if that other snatch workout was not like a run and was a row or something, where you do the snatches for time and then you run, I think he might have a shot because he could go 2 out of 2, not winning, but like two very, very good events. But since it is running, I just think he's going to be one of those guys that's on the bubble. And I just thought the other guys were fitter.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way about Sprague. I think Christoffel is going to surprise a lot of people. But yeah.
All right. Any last thoughts before we move on to the women?
Tyler Christoffel never. He's never going to make it to
the
the games. He's a choke artist. Sorry, hot take. He's never going to make it.
So you have Jake Berman as like 8th, but Tyler Christoffel is a choke artist. They
Jake's
have done
an
the
animal.
same thing virtually in their
No. Yes, virtually. Yes, if you just look at it like where they've been, but it's those moments where you need to put the hammer down and make it, and Jake doesn't lose focus of the ball. And
So when
Tyler
did he do that
freaks
and
out.
he made it?
He didn't make it, but he did the work he needed to do. He gave his best effort.
To not make it.
To not yes, I guess.
And you're saying Christopher was in a position to make it, but
Yes.
then he just did it, but then he didn't come through.
He quit at the end of that on that overhead lunge.
Dude, his
he
arms
quit.
gave out.
Oh yeah, huh? You had one step. One step.
All right, you go do that
Grow
workout.
up.
You go do that
Grow
workout and tell me how you feel. I'm not ever gonna say somebody quit. Like if your muscles give out, you don't know what's happening in their body. But what you said, he was in position to win, and then as you would say, he gave it away, right?
He quit.
Right? Okay, let's say he quit, but he was in a position to win or to make it.
He was, yeah.
So he has done a way fitter performance than Jake Berman has ever done, because Jake Berman has never been in a position to make it.
Yes.
He just gave his best, and his best was not good enough.
Okay, fair. But Jake's still young, and he works hard. Tyler may work hard, but he's old. And
well, I'm always going to pull for the old guys. I'm going to be a 31-year-old rookie. Now I can't wait.
I'll make a bet on Tyler versus Jake with you.
Well, see, I have Jake in too. I think I have them around the same spot. Yeah. I got Christopher. Two people ahead of it. I'll make that bet. But what do you want to bet on that?
Well, see, I want to say that Jake makes it. Tyler Christopher 100% does not make it to the games.
No, I'll just make it. Who does better?
Jake Berman.
No, I'll make that the bet.
Okay.
What do you want?
We'll figure
a mile
it out
of shuttle runs.
A mile of shuttle. I've already done that workout. It's not that bad.
Okay, hey, if I win, you have to do the workout that Tyler Christopher crumbled on.
Okay.
I don't even know what the workout is, but you have to do it. And if you don't beat him,
same thing for you.
If you don't beat his time, then you have to do it again 5 minutes later. Okay, and you don't have to beat his time, but if you don't beat it originally, because I mean, he just quits. If you can't beat a guy who just quits, I mean, what are you? So if you don't beat his time, then you have to do it again 5 minutes later.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
Same thing for you for Jake.
Okay, I don't even know what he did in that workout, but all right.
All right. Moving on to the women. Is there any doubt who's going to take first?
I was going to say we're still on men.
Unfortunately.
Is there any chance Mal does not walk away number one?
It's hard to say. It's hard to make a case for her not to.
Nope.
You guys both are strong with Emma Lawson coming in second.
Yeah, man. She was like fifth in the games.
So Emma Carey, the other Emma. Emma was great in the open workouts when you compared it to Mal.
Always been great in the open workouts. Those don't mean anything, Ryan. I don't know why you think they mean anything.
I mean,
do you know this dude named Charles Curran? Because he beat Rich on the majority of open workouts, and nobody knows who he is because the open workouts don't mean anything.
I think Emma is coming back, and she's going to show that she can compete with these women and make a statement. Not to the Mal level, but she'll be up there.
Do you think she'll put a scare in Mal at all?
No.
You think it'll be a clear tier drop?
Run away with this one, yeah.
Okay.
I respect your position on that. I have the exact opposite. Is that I think like she's going to come in and do well. I don't know. Spirit and level-headedness in competition means a lot to me, and I've seen too much her being a little wobbly, like mentally, and I just don't. I think she might get hurt, like not physically hurt, but she might get hurt on a couple of these workouts, like not do so well, and that's just going to drill into her brain, and she's not going to be able to get out of it. And so I think top three is out for her.
So I disagree with that. I think Emma Carey is a monster. I just don't think I think she can get there to where you have her, but I just don't think she's there yet.
Yeah, that's my big one.
I think Emma Lawson is going to be the next thing coming, though. I really do. I think people are obsessing over Mal, and then
Emma's the big question mark because we haven't seen her since Rogue, right? So
yeah,
I think Emma will see longevity. I think Mal might not last forever.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, right?
Yeah.
Moving on to the next. I mean, I think we have the top 6 are all the same for us, just in a little bit different order.
So far, Tyler, I think your list is great, and you just have a little bias in it. We have the exact same list,
except for Raptis and Brandon.
Yeah, but I mean that's just from where you are. Like that's how it's supposed to be. That's just how you're going to write it. But we have the same list so far.
And I will say that Danielle is ranked in my rankings, like her leader average is higher than Alexis.
Here it is. Here it is again.
But this one's mostly based on looking at Danielle and some of her weaknesses. I don't see her beating Brooke. She's a little bit, it's like cold one minute, hot the next. And Alexis just works, and she's continued to work in the off season. I think we're seeing the ramp up for her, and so I'm guessing that she can do better than what her stats say. This one is less bias and less me wishing and more just me actually thinking she is better at this point.
I think having her third before any handstand push-up workout is announced is huge bias, but I respect what you have said.
Yeah, we're going to see something with handstand, something on the hands on Sunday. Have to. So
for sure,
if she's in the mix, she could easily get into the podium at that point. Here's where things start to kind of get a little different. Paige Powers, Tyler, you don't have her in the top 9.
What is wrong with you, Tyler?
Alice
Paige Powers.
Amanda Barnhart, we all have up there in the same spot. We have Fee, Paige Semenza, Shelby Neal. This is where it kind of gets a little different. I think it's a little bit different from the men. It gets different from the men, right? The men, you have lots of games veterans. Here you're starting to see some newcomers or those who haven't been to the games in a while start to make an appearance.
Has Fee ever made it individually?
In 2019.
Oh, when everybody made it.
Yeah.
And this, like I said, this was before. Now thinking about some of these workouts, it might be hard for her, especially with the snatches, both of them.
We'll see. I think that weight's going to be easier for women than men.
Yeah. The running should be good at see, when you're talking about these sled pulls hand over hand, like mass moves mass. And with the guys, like some of that's, you can tease it out, but with the girls, like they just weigh so little, and especially with Fee. And so that might be really hard for her. And then the machines are going to be terrible for her. I don't know. She's going to have a hard time with this weekend. And then Linda.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Paige had 4th or 5th best time worldwide on regional, Linda.
And we're not talking about Paige. We're talking about Fee, right?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah,
but
Paige is a bigger girl. I think she'll smoke Linda.
Yeah. No, Paige Semenza had that. And Paige, I think, did really well at Wadapalooza on the bench press portion of it during the team competition. So I think she's one of those that nobody really pays attention to, and she's sneaky and going to have consistent finishes every single time. Oh, she told it to me during my interview.
At Wadapalooza.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. The last 2 in. This gets really crazy. Elena Savage. They only have 11. So, yeah, the women only have 11 on this one. I think the other spot ended up going to Europe versus the men. So you guys both have Annika Greer cracking into it. Tyler has Elena Savage. I only have Caroline Prevost. Is this the year that Annika makes it?
She's ranked well. I think she has put in work. She is the one pick I'm very uncomfortable with. I think as well there. She's just not seasoned enough, I think. I think she's a safer bet. Yeah.
Except one.
Yeah.
She won't be good at one.
She's a safer bet, I think, than Fee, but even still,
given these workouts,
yeah, I think she's volatile too.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Hey, quick question for you guys: are y'all going to keep up with how everybody does across all the divisions and like have a ranking of everybody?
What do you mean?
Like
across every semifinal?
Yes.
I will.
Okay, so far, I bet Laura beats Mal O'Brien in these events. We'll see with the next two, but I think Laura is going to have do way better than Mal so far.
We will see. That's a hot take.
It's
a lot of pressing, dude. There's a lot of pressing,
but not overhead pressing.
True.
Yeah, man. You think she's gonna struggle with them dumbbells?
No.
Yeah, dude.
No. Not a chance. She'll do fine.
Dude, she's gonna win that handedly, unless Alex Kazan is in hers, but she's not.
I don't know. I mean, why do you say that? Because I'm not familiar with her. You know,
dude, it's just overhead. It's a positioning thing. It's every other thing she has is crazy strong. Like in ring muscle up workouts, she does fine. It's not like she does I think she got like 7th in 30 ring muscle ups for time against, and with the long rings where Preston's harder. Way back when, like 2018. 7th in the whole games. Like her pressing is totally fine. It's just the positioning overhead that kills her. And it's not like even handstand push-up workouts. She beats most of the women in this bracket in the quarterfinal one, the one with the tape line.
She did before the penalty.
Yeah. But I just think she murders these workouts.
Yeah. I'm really, I mean, obviously we'll talk about Laura in a couple of weeks, but I'm curious to know what's the last 2 workouts on Sunday. We're going to have a rope climb. We're going to have some type of handstand push-up event. For her, I think it would be the worst case scenario to have those combined, because she couldn't take advantage of the rope climb. But I didn't have Annika in here just from, I was looking back at Rogue and was just unimpressed by how she performed there. I was actually looking forward to seeing how she would do. And obviously that field is, I mean, loaded, but so is this field. And so she got to perform better than she did at Rogue, I think, to get into the top 11. So,
yeah. And that Rogue is tainting. Event. It is, and she was in a different time in her training. I think she was trying to get stronger and trying to take care of a lot of weaknesses. She had been off for a while. Rogue is holding me back. It's what's making me nervous about her.
Clock, how many women qualify for the games? So the North America East women, 11 end up making it to the games, whereas on the men's side, it's 12. So it is different between men and women. All right. Shelby Neal, John, any quick reasons on why you threw her in there at number 9?
Yeah. So if you go back and watch the semifinals, I think last year, it could be
she was close last year.
I think last year. Yeah. Well, she was like 2nd. She was killing everybody, and I had never heard of her. And she she was beating everybody except whoever was in the region with her. That's the game's mainstay. You know, I don't know who it was, but somebody like Danielle Brandon or something was in first, and then it was Shelby Neal, and then everybody else. And she was doing so good. And then the 10 legless rope climb event, is the one of, and you know how badly that skews the semifinal. And that 10 legless rope climb, she got last place, and then she was sixth. She was sixth or seventh in the semifinal, but was beating everybody at everything. She had no weaknesses except for that one, and I mean, it was a major one. So if legless rope climbs do not come out and it's just regular rope climbs, or anything that's not a lot of legless rope climbs, I think she makes it, because she was so impressive last year, and she hasn't really done anything since, but that just means she's had her head down in training. I feel. So I mean, I think she's going to surprise a lot of people.
Yep.
She didn't get as much recognition as she should have last year because of that legless rope climb workout, but I think she's going to impress.
No, that's a good point. All right, and the handful of athletes who we have sitting on the outside. So, Caroline Prevost, Caroline Stanley, Lexi Neal, Ashley Wozni. I have Annika, Sydney Wells, and we have Fee over there. For me, Sydney Wells, I thought she might have a chance this year, but my concern is the muscle ups. She struggled at Wadapalooza. That's always been something. And so seeing the workout with the ruck, I'm concerned that that's going to be too much for her. And she could, just like you talked about, John, with who was it? Shelby, that's going to be one workout she can't recover from. Anything, you guys both have Caroline Prevost on the outside. Is that just more of new athletes coming in, or anything that you see from a specific workout that may prevent her from getting in?
I haven't seen heavy deadlifts yet.
That is true. She's very good at the heavy deadlifts.
Caroline Prevost has always been somebody who's been outside looking in, and then she gets this really heavy deadlift workout, and she just gets first or second in it, and that's the reason she makes it. That's happened to her like 4 times in competition. And we've had 2 snatching events. One is max, and then we have what's the third event? And third event's Linda. I guess that's the deadlift event, right? So
Yeah,
there's not going to be heavy deadlifts to bail her out. And so I just don't. For that reason, I don't think she's going to make it. And the field is stacked. Like, this would be different if it was a regular semifinal. I think she probably gets in. Mm-hmm. But with this, the way it is, and how many people that are that fit, unless she has a home run workout, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and that, Carolyn, I think she's not plateaued. She's getting better, but I don't think she is getting better at the same rate as some of her peers. And I don't think I can, say this enough, is that there being 60 people in this field is going to get weird. Like, if you fall, you're going to fall far. Like, people are really good, and everyone's weird good and there's a lot of people who are weird good in all of these events. And so if you mess up, you're out.
Yeah.
So I think that was something I was considering a lot too when I was making some of these weird choices that I was making on the leaderboard. It's like, man, this is going to do some strange stuff. But for her, like, she's been consistent, but she just doesn't rank high enough for me. And like I said, she's not getting better at the rate I think some of her peers are. Some of the newbies are. So
no, I think you're right. The top 60 athletes, it's going to be a weird dynamic, way different than we're used to seeing, even with just, the difference between 40 and 60, I think, is going to be significant. So it's really curious to see how this plays out. I think watching this first week will be much more telling to see what we can kind of think about how it's going to play out in weeks 2 and 3. So I'll leave you with one last question. Is there, of the workouts that we know now, is there one that's going to be more highly correlated to how they overall finish?
Oh, what's you're asking what, like, the tell-all?
Yeah, like, if you could pick one workout that says, like, this could be the most correlated. it's going to be the best, predictor of who's going to advance.
So far right now, damn, they're all
That's
so
5.
niche.
That's a lot of times they end up being the more true
Mixed
CrossFit
modal.
workouts. Yeah. I mean, it's the thruster pull-up workouts. It's, the standard CrossFit ones versus a single modality. But right now we don't really have that yet. And most likely Sunday will be the one that does that, is the answer. But of those that you see on Friday and Saturday, is there one that stands out to you of
Not one, but the combination of 3 and 1. What?
The combination between 1 through 5, I think, will
yes, but like I don't think they're all so niche.
Eliminating the question. I think
it's
test
because
5.
I can't answer it.
Test 5 right now.
Yeah. Just watch it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if I had to pick one, that would be it, because it's like.
I think right now for me it's number 2. Right, it's the
I
muscle
thought of
ups.
2. I thought
the
of
muscle
2.
ups. You have to be gymnastics. You have to have some type of engine able to, fire it back up 2-3 times. I just think that those muscle ups could be a limiter for a lot of these athletes.
And that's so the reason you're going for it is the reason I'm going against it, is because like you're gonna have really good pressers and they're just gonna do really well in this workout, and that's why I'm going against it.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's too much of a specialist workout to be like in that gymnastic realm. And like test 5, you have to be strong to get through that fast. Even though everybody should be able to do it, you have to be fast at it. It's a different thing. And then you have to run 800 meters. 800 meters is not a sprint per se. It's kind of like
it's one of the hardest runs. If you run track, it's the hardest run out there. So
after 8 snatches, so like I think I'm willing. I would bet that that's the best correlate. I feel very good about that.
No.
Yeah, I your case makes sense to me. I hate having to pick one, especially one with only 2 movements in it, and that is so short. But I don't think you're wrong.
The simple ones are the best ones, right?
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Been here for almost for a long time, longer than we normally are. So I appreciate it. We got some bets on the line, so we'll have to honor those.
We need to record those. So we need to have those on file.
I know, so don't forget.
Yeah. All right, guys. Till next week. Appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again.